Hey y'all, so I have a problem. Do you see these 6 paintings right here, these 6 squares? Yeah, I need them to be 12 in the next 3 days, so I'm taking you along with me to tackle that. Don't worry, I know you're probably asking yourself what is happening, and I'll explain it to you. So, I'm going to be participating in an art gallery here in Portugal that's called 12 by 12. The objective of the art gallery is for the artist to submit between 2 and 12 drawings or paintings or any form of art, but it needs to be in this 12 by 12 format so that it fits inside a CD box, which will be the exposition method. So we need to submit the paintings inside the CD box. I really wanted to be able to deliver the 12 paintings. Up until very recently, I thought 9 was the maximum amount of drawings. So I was pretty chill with it. I thought, okay, I only have 3 more to go. But then a dear friend of mine who's also participating said she had done the 12 drawings. And I was like, excuse me, 12? So yeah, now I'm suddenly realizing that my 6 drawings are only half of what I need to deliver. And yeah, this mission needs to be fulfilled. I have 3 days to paint 6 more paintings, 2 per day, so yeah. But first, we need to tackle this office because it's honestly a mess. Alright, as you can see, my office was quite a mess today. Actually, this is the build-up mess over a few weeks, maybe. And I just needed it to be clean in order for me to be able to work a little. So yeah, I got right into doing that, and I thought filming it would be a nice sequence for this video because for me personally, I find it very satisfying to watch other people clean and organize their spaces. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it. Alright, here we go. Everything is tidy now. My cat's favorite place is on top of my working desk. It's a bit of trouble actually because sometimes we need to be fighting for it. I'm going to start by cutting my pieces of paper that I'll be using. I use this mixed media pad that is 300 GSM. It has a very fine texture. I believe it's like hot pressed. Here I have my 3 papers that I'll be using, and here I'm starting to add my colors that I'll be using for today's painting. I'm doing a little sketch because it's something more architectonic and less naturey. Well, in the end it's kind of naturey, but I just need to have a sketch to make sure that all the proportions are in place. I really wanted to do a mossy painting because I already made one. It was actually the first painting I ever made for this gallery, and I wanted a little buddy to go along with it, so I painted this other one. It's funny because the last step after painting the actual paintings, it's to upload them to the gallery's website in the order that you like most, so that makes most sense for you. And I tried to order them in a way that made sense, like logically, like as if you could almost tell a story from it. It's funny because I didn't plan for this at all, and somehow it all kind of makes sense. So the clips you just saw were from yesterday. Long story short, my camera ran out of battery. I painted 2 other paintings yesterday while my camera was charging, and I ended up not recording the process of any of them. So I'll insert here a few images of them. Let's see what today's brings us. So I decided to choose a different paper for all of the other paintings, which will be 4 in total, because I was really curious to see how this paper would handle gouache, because the notepad says it's for gouache, which is something rare for me to see, at least here where I live. It's always like either mixed media or watercolor or sketching, but never for gouache specifically. So I decided to try it and I really loved it. I loved the effect that it gave to the paintings. It made them look watercolor, even though they are gouache. The paint bleeds a little bit into the paper and it gives it a very blurry feel, but at the same time, I really dig that. I really liked it. And this is probably my favorite painting of the bunch. I am seriously thinking of buying a big A2 sheet and making like a big version of it in watercolor this time to hang here at home, because both my husband and I loved this painting so much. I decided to do it a bit stylized, as you'll see later. And I know right now it probably makes no sense, but you'll see it gain shape and then you'll be like, oh, at least that's how I saw it. Here I'm starting to add a bit of blue to catch a bit of transparency. And I'm also adding a bit more opaqueness in other zones to imply layers. I'm so sorry that my camera keeps getting out of focus. I really need to find a way to have it focusing on what I'm painting. If anyone has any tips for me, you can please leave it in the comments.
You are my sunlight. You are my sunlight.
Now this was the most satisfying part for me to paint. It was the veins of the lotus leaves. This is my second painting of lotus leaves here in this gallery. I first started drawing the veins, and then in between the veins I drew the vessels, which usually are more veiny shaped, I guess, but I decided to stylize it, making these stripes. And I believe it's one of the things I like most about this painting.
You are my sunlight.
Here I'm adding a bit of shade because I realized that it needed more. I'm adding more definition to the cloud. And now I'm blow drying everything with my handy dandy blow dryer. And also, here goes a tip for you guys. If you see that your tape keeps ripping up your paper, you can peel it off using the blow dryer because it will prevent that. Yeah, it's amazing. And now I'm adding some gold details because every painting in this gallery that I'm doing will have gold details. It's like a theme to unite them all together. Next painting, I'm starting by wetting the paper again, pouring my colors. I will be using whole pine gouache in all of the paintings of this video. Here I added the blue for the sky, blue-gray, but then I realized it was way too strong, so I dabbed it off with the cloth and it was the perfect tone, so yay for me. The reference for this was actually a clashing wave, which is the first time I ever drawn something like that, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of intimidated me, but I think that the fact that I used this bleedy paper made it so much better because I feel like there was a lot of details that I didn't have to specifically draw because they would get blurred out either way. And in this painting, it worked so well. Here I'm doing my best to blend these two colors without leaving any trails behind. And here I'm realizing that the color there is way too blue, so I added a bit of a greener shade. Now I'm adding more depthness. If there's anything I need to complain about this paper, or maybe the gouache, or maybe a correlation between both, is that all my colors seem to fade. So I put down a really dark color, and then when I look at it, it's like medium toned. And the same with white. I put down white, and then when I look at it, it's like gray. So you'll see in this painting, I had to go back a couple times to reinforce both whites and dark colors. Here I'm starting to add like the clashing part of the wave, making it look watery and messy and rolly, I guess. I don't know what it's called in English, but in Portuguese, the direct translation would be like a rolling wave. So as you can see here, I'm already adding more darkness and more lightness. I feel like adding these white details in the wave, it's what really made the vision come to life. And I'll pretty much be doing this for the rest of the painting. Besides darkening up the sky a little bit, which is what I'm doing right now, I'll be darkening the darks and whitening the whites until it's just perfect. As I said, this painting turned out way better than I imagined, and I'm so glad that I decided to push myself and do it, because the thought of doing it really intimidated me, and yet I went for it, and I don't regret it at all. Alright, now I'm peeling off the tape using the blow dryer method, and next painting. I like whitening this paper using a water spray and then spreading it with a fan brush. These are the colors I'll be using for this next painting, And I decided to start this painting with the paper really wet because I wanted the colors to kind of blend together, almost like a watercolor actually. You can see here how much the paint actually spreads. It looks kind of weird right now, so I'll tell you right away, it's a tomato. I'm starting with the background and its shadow. And my husband brought me a snack. He's so cute. Thank you, hubby. Okay, now starting to go in depth with the tomato details. I really enjoyed making this part. In the end, I feel like it kind of looked like oil painting, the tomato itself. It's crazy because gouache feels like painting like watercolor, but in the end, for me, it tends to look a bit like oil paint. I guess it's a mixture of both worlds, in the best way possible, really. Here I'm being very careful adding the green leaves on top because I do not want to reactivate the gouache beneath. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just kept adding a little bit more details. Peeling off the tape and adding my gold details as well. I added milk to my tea. Please, nobody tell me off in the comments because I know it's controversial. Hey everyone, so it's officially day 3, and as you saw, yesterday was a very productive day. We managed to get to 3 paintings, which is awesome. I really loved yesterday's paintings. They came out so good, and today I have a very busy day here with things to do in the house, so I'm very grateful that I only have to do one more painting, and I'm also feeling very inspired. I already know what I want to paint and everything. Today, as you may also notice by that window, it's a very gloomy day. It's very rainy, it's very cloudy, and it's just the perfect day to stay at home and paint some things. So let's do it. Okay, starting again, and today is a new day with new possibilities, so I'm using a new tape as well. This one is inspired by Van Gogh, the painting with the sunflowers. And I am doing a sketch for this one, going to be a seashell. I was feeling very inspired when I started painting this seashell, but very quickly I got a bit desperate because it had a lot of contrast between very dark blues and also very pretty much whites. And working with gouache in this way could also mean that the whitest white you'll ever get is the actual blank paper. So I really wanted to nail it down. and not paint over any part that I knew would have to be white in the end. So I was very careful placing my strokes so that I didn't ruin any white part. It's funny how in the end, because everything just looks blue, you'd think that it was like just a couple blue brush strokes, but it's actually a lot of very tiny brush strokes distributed through all the painting that in the end makes this. So it kind of resembles a puzzle actually. And in my head, when I look at it after assembling here and there, and I can start to finally see a seashell, is when I think, oh, okay, it's actually looking like one. It's actually looking like what I'm supposed to be painting, so that's nice. And here on the reference photo, the background was actually white, but I wanted to add something there to make it pop and make it different. So I decided to contrast it with the opposite color of blue, which is orange, and make it a coral orange so that it also resembles the sea theme. So it's a seashell with coral orange. I actually thought it turned out pretty cute, so yeah. By the way, I have such a problem of always undermixing the quantity of paint that I'll need. When I'm doing backgrounds, I always mix less than I need and then I have to remix and then it's never the same tone, it's a mess. Now I'm adding the final gold touches. And then taking the tape off with my handy dandy blow dryer. Signing it off, every painting that I painted for this gallery has been signed by me and also dated. And yeah, here it is. All my paintings in this way, they are chronologically placed. Alright, y'all, I guess we did it! Yay! I'm not gonna lie, at first, when I first came up with this idea of completing the 6 remaining paintings in only 3 days, and filming on top of it, which can be a distress, I thought I was either going to do it very well or like fail successfully at it. But I'm glad to say that I was successful. The fact that I managed to do it proves to me that if I put something in my head, no matter how impossible it may seem, I can do it. I am very happy that I did this. I definitely pushed my limits and I can tell that not only do I have more to offer than I thought I did, but that I also have more to explore about my own skill and creativity, because what you do a lot tends to be perfection, and I really want to see where my art can take me next. I really enjoyed making this. I like the fact that I painted with a purpose. I like the restrictions, I like the size restrictions, the format restriction, and I liked the fact that I also needed to paint 12, which for me was a very large number for paintings, but yay, we managed to get through it. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me, at least for the paintings that you did manage to see. I'm so sorry about the 2 that unfortunately I couldn't film. Also, don't forget to comment, because every person that comments on this video gets featured on the next one. And speaking of which, these are the lovely people that commented on my last video. Thank you so much for your support. And if you want to keep supporting me, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. It helps a lot, tells the YouTube algorithm that I'm worthy of being seen and of being shown to a lot more people. So, with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye bye!